Hey there, and welcome back to the new weekend. I'm your host, Jack. Let's get into it, Excuse me. During the podcast, what do we go with tonight? Second week in a row, starting off the new year, we went with our good friends over at Northern Soda Co. We went with their Diet Root Beer, and I have to say, it's okay. It's okay. Or I'm not going to give you the typical, it's not bad, but it's not great. But it's okay. Truthfully, I've never... For a long time there, I didn't realize they even made diet root beer to begin with. Then I just haven't had it in a long time, so I didn't really know what to expect of it. But yeah, like I said, it's okay. For those that don't know, Northern Soda Co. or Northern Soda Company is a local Minnesota soda brewing company that specializes in 50s type sodas. They use real cane sugar. And have a beautiful craft soda tap room located in New Brighton off of Campus Drive, right off of what's that 35W, up there, and kind of in a cool kind of like back of like a little warehouse district. Really cool setup. I urge you guys, if you have not gone, whether it's cold out now in the middle of winter or when it gets nicer, go check them out. You will not be disappointed. Not only do they have copious amounts of sodas for you guys to choose from the tap and all that kind of stuff, but they also have a really cool area where you can mix and match in person your own 6-pack or 24-pack. And they just have a bunch of merch that you can get everything from like sweatshirts, hats, mittens, stickers, glasses, mini like little shot glasses that you can sample sodas in. Anything you can think of they have. And then on top of that, they have a couple of different TVs to have like certain watch parties and stuff like that, as well as board games. They have a couple arcade games. In the summer, they got bags and stuff that they have in part of the words are hard to come by tonight. Parking lot area, and it's just a really, really cool vibe. You can host special events there. You can get a tour of their whole production. It's really top of the line. I myself am itching to get back to. So yeah, for a little bit of taste of what they have coming up here, you can go onto their website, northernsoda. All of their information on their sodas. You can order stuff online as well. But a couple of events that they have coming up here. 2 days from tonight, Sunday the 18th, they have a DIY craft workshop. Make a wood burner coaster. It's kind of cool. Unfortunately, Friday the 23rd, they will be closed, like I mentioned, for a private party. And then on the 30th, they have Soda Sample Frenzy. What is that, you might ask? And it's been a while since I've seen it on here because they haven't had a ton of events recently. But every last Friday of the month, they have a sample frenzy. It doesn't have all of the information on here, but I believe they have discounted prices for their sample size sodas if that's what you want to get. Yeah, really cool establishment. I can't say enough great things about them. You're really treated with first class experience going there, and they give you everything you need, and really, like I said, overall just a really cool environment. And if you're interested, if you go on their website, one of the drop downs you can click on is our sodas, and they give you like a little brief synopsis of each, not every single one, but kind of like more of like their staple flavors. And I thought I remember diet root beer being one of them. It is, and it says this is their only diet flavor, sweetened with Splenda. That might be what I'm tasting, that I'm not a huge fan of. 0 calories yet sweet. Classic root beer flavor with a hint of caramel and caffeine free. Like I said, I think part of the reason I don't particularly like it is because it doesn't really taste like your traditional root beer, which it's not supposed to. It's diet. It's got a little bit of caramelness to it, like they mentioned, and that Splenda and caramel, they just kind of mix together at the end there, and I'm not really loving that aftertaste. So yeah, that's what I got for you guys. We're gonna go ahead and I'll give it a 5.7. I'll give it a 5.7. I think that's a fair synopsis. I think I have tried one or two other flavors that I would get before I would get this one before I got those other two, but I would go out of my way to get this one again. So yeah, like I said, go check them out. Like I said, northernsoda.com. They if you are interested, make sure you check out their website for their hours. They are open a little bit differently. So they actually close during the week, Monday through Thursdays, or Monday through Wednesdays. Thursdays and Fridays are open 4 p.m. to 8 p.m. Saturdays 11 a.m. to 8 p.m. and then Sundays noon to 6 p.m. You can find them on social media, Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, and then at northernsoda.com. So go check them out. You guys will not be disappointed. Tell them Jack sent you, Mini Weekend sent you, and yeah, that's what we got for our drink of the podcast tonight. So stay tuned before we jump into Tommytown here. Been getting some reviews, some kind of responses from you guys that you kind of like the college talk and the college sports, but sometimes outside of football season, it seems kind of fast-paced through it. So I think within the next month, what we're going to be doing is we're going to be breaking the podcast up into 2 separate podcasts and doing everything on a every other week basis. We're still going to be posting on a weekly basis, but we're just going to start doing 2 podcasts. One is going to be Tommytown specifically, where we talk just about Tommy sports, give you guys the ins and out of everything that is going on Tommy-wise, and maybe sprinkle a little bit of Gopher stuff in there. And then the next week we'll do our professional sports still, and we might just keep that as the mini weekend. We might have a different name for it. But yeah, that should be kind of fun and interesting coming up here. And yeah, like I said, nothing bad. But for those that don't know, I usually like to try to keep the podcast kind of between a half hour and 15 minutes, gets kind of that sweet spot. For sure under an hour, and I know sometimes when there's a lot going on, we can get to, an hour, hour 10, hour 15. And I know a lot of people, I'm not Pat McAfee yet, so I know a lot of people don't like to stick around and listen to the whole thing. So in an effort to kind of keep them more short, sweet, and more user friendly for you guys, I think that's gonna be a better bet kind of going forward. So just keep your eyes peeled for that. We will obviously let you guys know once that is official. But, yeah, without further ado, Tommytown men's hockey team, they beat Bemidji State tonight 5-1. Captain Lucas Wallen scored his 50th career goal, which is awesome for him. But this 5-1 win is their 7th straight win. This team is rolling. They're now sitting at 13-7-3 overall, 10-3-2 in the CCHA, and they're currently tied atop the CCHA with Augustana with 33 points. The only thing is, the Tommies have a game on Augustana. Augustana has played 24 games. Tommies have played 23 games. That's worth noting. Yeah, like I said, you have to go back to, where is it here? You gotta go back to December 5th, their last loss in the first game of a home series against the Lake Superior State Lakers. But this team is just playing really good hockey right now. They're playing really good at home, especially, which is kind of what you want from any sport. Like I mentioned, 5-1 from 5 different scorers. Dylan Godbout got one, Jake Branchini got one, Lucas Van Vliet and Ryan O'Neill, which was awesome. And you saw, Lucas Van Vliet, Chase Cheslock, and Charlie Schoen all finishing the game with multi-point games, which was awesome. And they also saw Carson Muser pick up the 13th save win in this one as well. So really awesome stuff to see this team rolling. They're currently ranked number 19 in the nation, and that was as of the 11th. So I'm guessing new rankings will come out on the 18th, which I wouldn't be surprised to see it go up a couple spots. Probably not higher than 16 or 17, but still an amazing accomplishment. You look at the teams that are ranked ahead of them. Minnesota Duluth, they're going to be with them in the NCHC next year. So it'll be interesting to see how far up they go on the 7th game win streak with some of these teams, because they beat Minnesota State a couple days ago. And yeah, onward and upward for the team. They will have their second game against Bemidji State tomorrow, 7:07 p.m. on Saturday. And then after that, they will get ready for a game or a series in Sault Ste. Marie, Ontario, with the Lake Superior State. Lakers, before we move farther on to, yes, I understand we're doing this again on a Friday night. Jack, are we going to be making a habit of this? No, I mentioned this last week, and once again, I got lazy. I am getting better for you guys. But this year, like always, during football season, we always do our podcast on Wednesday night so that we can kind of look at and do things for Thursday night football games and everything for you guys. But other than football related stuff throughout the rest of the year, I kind of like to do them on Thursday, as it's kind of previewing kind of the weekend to come and the weekend behind us. So we will be getting back in the better habit this upcoming week, Thursday night podcasts. So don't get too frustrated with me. Just stay patient with me. You guys are doing great. So that's what we have for the men's hockey team. As for the women's hockey team, they suffered a tough loss to the number 1 ranked Wisconsin Badgers, tonight, which brings them back down to earth after they swept the first sweep of the season against the Bemidji State Beavers. They are now sitting at 10-13 overall, 5-12-4 in the WCHA. Just really goes to show you just how competitive and how tough this WCHA conference is. As if you take out that conference record, this team is 5-1 and 4. We kind of grind them out, gut them out games here. Yeah, they unfortunately lost tonight 1-5 to the number 1 rated Wisconsin Badgers. It'd be really cool and really awesome if tomorrow at 2 p.m. they could at least stay competitive and make it a game with the Badgers. But we will just have to wait and see. After this game with the Badgers, they will be getting ready for yet another tall task as they will travel to Columbus, Ohio to take on the number 2 ranked Ohio State Buckeyes. First game will be the 3rd at 5 p.m. Second will be at noon on Saturday the 24th. For the men's team, they have been continuing to roll as well. They took a couple nights ago. They're currently on a 9-game winning streak, which is unbelievable. You have to go all the way back to, Jesus, a lot of scrolling. You go all the way back to that first Big Sky Summit League Challenge, December 3rd, for their last win. They have started off Summit League play on a 4-game winning streak. Obviously, there's still a lot of basketball to be played. We're far from March Madness here. But they're playing really good basketball right now. Opened up in Denver with a nice, close 92-88 win. South Dakota took care of them 99-86. Went to Tulsa, took care of Oral Roberts 82-71, and then just a couple days ago on Thursday took care of the Fighting Hawks from North Dakota 91-80. So huge hats off to this team. Clearly, one of the favorites to win the whole thing this year, and I can't believe I didn't pull this up before we got on. But currently sitting in, let's get this pulled up. Men's basketball currently sitting number 1 in the Summit League. Their 4-0. North Dakota State is 5-, which makes this next game in Fargo on Saturday a big game for who will be farther in front of that. But yeah, St. Thomas is overall 5-4. Only North Dakota State is 15-5, and the only other team in the conference with double-digit wins is South Dakota, who's actually 4th in the conference, but sits at 10-9. So really remarkable for this team. Can't wait to see how they progress and where they go from here, and just how good this team actually is. Going to be with the likes of Nolan Minisale, Janikowski, and the level of the older players and younger guys as well. So cannot wait. They will be in action a couple more times. Like I mentioned, Saturday they will be taking on North Dakota State in Fargo before they come back home for a game the night of the next podcast on the 22nd for a game against the South Dakota State Jackrabbits. And then as for the women's team, they're holding steady. They're sitting at 99 overall, 2-2 in the Summit League play. and kind of going back and forth. They're not really digging themselves a hole, but they're also not kind of getting too far ahead. They opened up Summit League play with a loss, big loss to South Dakota State away, 49-87. But they came back and beat Denver at home, 74-65 in overtime. Staying at home, they lost a close one to South Dakota, 65-72, before this last Thursday beating Omaha by a score of 81-68. So, really, this team just kind of looking to string together a couple of wins. Really, for this team, you have Alyssa Sand, and Faith Fauerbach kind of leading the way for this team, being scoring, averaging 13.7 and 10.1 points, respectively. So really trying to rely on some new gals this year. I mean, last year this team had, I think, three of their 5 starters were seniors, and I think 5 of their top 6 or 7 point getters were seniors with 1 transfer, I believe. It's a new, we've been talking about it a little bit this year so far, but it's a new look team. They're trying to get their wits about them. What role is each lady going to play? All those kinds of things. But I have all the faith in them that this team will get hot at the right time, and it'll be a good season for them. And then, like we've mentioned before, the men and women's basketball teams, they kind of mirror each other's schedules. So tomorrow they will be in Kansas City to take on the Roos at 1 p.m. before coming back home on Wednesday, 7 p.m. for a game against the North Dakota State Bison. Then before we move on from Tommytown, there was one thing in news on the football team this last week. Back on Monday the 12th, it was announced that Glenn Caruso will be inducted into the Minnesota Football Coaches Association Hall of Fame in late March after just 18 seasons with the Tommies. What the heck, Jack, does this mean he's retiring? It is not. It was just announced this last Monday, and the beginning of it says, to be eligible for the MFCA Hall of Fame, individuals must have been a head coach for at least 15 years and must be at least 50 years old. Additionally, coaches must be members of the Minnesota Football Coaches Association. And this is this man's resume in his 18 years as the Tommy head coach. This upcoming season will be his 19th year, obviously. He was a 2022 Pioneer Football League Coach of the Year. He was a 2022 FCS National Coach of the Year finalist, 2022 Pioneer Football League champion, 2-time AFCA Division III National Coach of the Year, 3-time Division III Liberty Mutual Coach of the Year, Division III National Football Magazine National Football Coach of the Year, 7-time MIAC champion, and 6-time MIAC Coach of the Year. In his 18 seasons at St. Thomas, he has compiled a record of 164-39, producing 17 consecutive 500 or better seasons with the Tommies. And in this last season, he led the St. Thomas to its 5th top 3 finish in the Pioneer Football League standings, as they were in the hunt for their 2nd league title entering the final 2 weeks of the regular season. So really remarkable what this man has been able to do for this program as a Division III program and now as a Division I program in the FCS. So a huge congratulations to him, and cannot wait to see this happen in March. So a couple quick things for you guys before we jump into our professional sports. Unreal. You guys know the deal. They are the top of the line in athleisure. One of the coolest and best, not just clothing companies, but just Minnesota-based companies. This company is honestly just unbelievable. I can't remember what drop it is, but this is the whiteout sweatshirt that was put out this year. I believe there are some sizes still available if you're interested. For the men's Elevation hoodie one, only smalls, and for the women's, only extra double X small and 3 extra large. So there are some still available, not many, but super slick. Still can't believe I haven't had this on before. Really cool. It says Vikings on top of the hood, which is kind of a cool touch. Nothing on the sleeves. Vikings patch. Vikings UNRL up here. Cool Viking logo right here. But again, Elevation hoodie. So it's simple. It's cozy. It's just honestly awesome and wonderful and great. if you want my honest to God opinion. And then I always get my hats mixed up, but tonight we're rocking the Sahara, the Weekender snapback. Love this thing. I wear it for golf. I wear it taking my kid to hockey Saturdays. Pretty much everywhere I go. You can dress all their stuff down. You can work. They have workout clothes. They have stuff for the driving range. They have stuff for work. They have just bumming around clothes. They have things you can wear out for a night out on the town. Anything you guys can think of, they have it. Keep your eyes peeled. They have a couple of things coming up here that they're doing. They have an in-arena exclusive emblem capsule. 7 teams, 1 standard. I don't know quite yet if there's going to be kind of like volume, like the NFL stuff, where there will be a couple drops of each team. Or not, or if it's just going to be one and be done. But one thing we know for sure is it's going to be the Minnesota Wild will obviously be one of the 7 teams, and then they actually have a. What is it? Let's see if I can. Where to go? I'm trying to wait list. No, I thought it was up here. It doesn't. I think it's on their Instagram. You can go on, and they have like a little barely picture of each of the logos. The only one that you can definitely tell they're going to do is the Wild. It looks like they're doing the Detroit Red Wings. One of them looks like it could either be the Jets or the Tampa Bay Lightning. I'm inclined to think it's going to be the Tampa Bay Lightning because I think Jake Gensel wears Unreal stuff. And I think the Pittsburgh Penguins, those are the only 4 I think I know. The other 3, I am not sure. I could be wrong about 2 of those. We're just going to have to wait and see. So, in my opinion, if you guys want my opinion, looking at, I don't know where I saw it. But, and then the other thing too, they have on the 20th, so in 4 days here, they have a suede crew that they're going to be dropping too. You can go check that out on their Instagram. So this company, they're just when you think they have everything you need, they come out with stuff that you're just like, take my money. Really cool stuff. Can't wait to see what else this company does. Go check them out, unrl.com. All of their material, clothing, hats and everything truly is unreal. No pun intended. Or maybe it was. But yes, go check them out, unrl.com. They're all over social media, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, LinkedIn. Go check them out. You will not be disappointed. And lastly, make sure you check out the description in the YouTube video as I post my link for you to get $15 off your first order, and you start accruing points immediately that you can use on future orders for 25, 30, 40, and $50 off of orders. So go check them out and let them know the mini weekend sent you. So that is what I have for Unreal. Excuse me. And then there was something that happened today that I know we don't talk about this sport a lot, but there was something that happened that one of the teams signed a guy that really pissed me off, and we'll just get right into it. The LA Dodgers have single-handedly shown everybody there needs to be something of a salary cap in the MLB. They signed Kyle Tucker to a 4-year, $204 million contract. To put that in layman's terms and break that down for you guys, this guy has an average annual salary of $60 million a year. What that means is this team currently has, including Kyle Tucker, they have 4 players on their team that have contract values of at least $240 million or more. And on top of that, they have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 players that are making that have contract values of at least $100,000, which is just preposterous. You want to see just how preposterous this is? Let me show it to you. Like I said, Kyle Tucker, their latest signing, $60 million a year. That's one player on this team, one player. This is where is it? Their payroll for this current 2026 season. The Miami Marlins just under $101 million. Tampa Bay Rays at $108 million. Cleveland Guardians at $117 million. And the Chicago White Sox at $128 million. So that means there are 4 teams in the league that are making less than 2 times what one man is making for the LA Dodgers. On top of that, I mean, there's only 10 teams in the league that their payroll is actually more than the value of this man's contract. And that's Houston, the Cubs, Atlanta, San Diego, Boston, New York, Toronto, Philadelphia, the Mets, and the Dodgers. Shocker. Big market teams. And again, I know what some of you are going to say, life's not fair, and I get that. But I think some of the best leagues in the world, the NBA, the NHL, the NFL, there is so much parity in them that on any given year, a really bad team can do really well, and vice versa. And if you think, well, Jack, the best team, the Dodgers aren't winning every single year. That's where you're wrong. The Dodgers have actually won back-to-back World Series right now. For you guys that don't know, they've won back-to-back, and they're going for a three-peat. And they're obviously, barring injuries, going to be the team to beat. So on top of that, they've won 3 of the last 6 World Series. And if that's not crazy enough, they've actually been to 5 of the last 8 World Series. So that means in the last 8 years, there have been only 3 of them that the Dodgers have not been to. Of the lists of the and there's obviously 2 teams that make it. So in the last 8 years, you have, 16 total teams. Let's see who else is in there. Toronto Blue Jays, New York Yankees, Houston Astros, Philadelphia Phillies, Atlanta Braves, Washington Nationals, Houston Astros, Boston Red Sox. Only of those 10 teams I listed to you, only the Arizona Diamondbacks, I think we're the Texas Rangers on. The Arizona Diamondbacks, the Texas Rangers, the Washington Nationals actually, and the Tampa Bay Rays. Only 4 of the last 16 teams to make the MLB World Series are teams that are not high market teams. And I just think it's ridiculous. I think, again, I don't know enough about this. Maybe you do something in the MLB like you do with the NBA, where it's like you have a hard cap where you just cannot go over it, and you have aprons where you get taxed differently and stuff like that. But something needs to give. Like, you can't, this isn't a worldwide league. That you can't just throw all this money at your team and just say, hey, we're just going to buy championships. Nobody wants to watch that. And I think, I heard somebody say this, but I think the MLB finally needs to listen to their fans, because I don't think after this recent signing, I don't think anybody is happy unless you're a Dodgers fan, which is just ridiculous. Anybody should have a chance to win this, and it feels like on any given offseason, any team really isn't given an opportunity for some of these guys, because everybody just wants the bag, so they just go to these bigger market teams that they can get $1 billion, $500 million contracts that these smaller market teams that really want them just can't offer them. So it's and that's not what baseball is about. That's not what sports are about. It's not about building super teams. It's about having your core guys that you want there and then building around them. So again, I probably even spent more time on this than I originally wanted to, but that's my spiel on that. The MLB, like I said, wholeheartedly needs to, Rob Manfred, if he wants any chance to make this league enjoyable for anybody that's not in a big market, he needs to just make it happen. So that's my rant for the podcast tonight, this week. And then as for the Wild, they've been kind of slumping a little bit lately. Is it time to press the panic button? No, because like I've mentioned, you don't love to be, what's the word I'm looking for? You don't want to be clumping a bunch of losses together. We've currently won 3 of our last 9 games. Yes, 3 of those have come in. 3 of those losses have come in extra sessions, so we've gotten a point away from those 3 games. But something's off, and which brings me into the only other thing I really want to talk about the Wild. I think we're still in need of a trade, and the trade deadline is quickly coming up here. I believe it's February 4th, which is right before the break for the Winter Olympics. I know a lot of people think we might be trying to go get a winger like a Panarin, Puck, or Kiefer Shorewood was the Vancouver Canuck I heard getting tossed around. But if I'm being completely honest, I think we need another solid centerman. So I would love to see us, go get a Jonathan Taves, go get Ryan O'Reilly, go get maybe Sidney Crosby. if you can get him without having to give away too much of your assets with his relationship he has with Bill Guerin. But at the end of the day, I think, again, we've talked about the last couple of podcasts, the Wild primarily need another center. If you can get a winger that also knows how to play center, sure. But I really think in the next, in the next three and a half weeks before we break for the Olympics, which I'm gassed for, you gotta go get another centerman that can go against some of these elite centermen for the playoffs and get beefed up and ready to go. So that's kind of what I got for the Wild. They will be up 4 times in the next week. They'll be in on a quick 3-game road trip. They'll be in Buffalo 11:30 tomorrow morning for a game. They'll be in Toronto Monday 6:30 for a game. Tuesday in Montreal for a 6 o'clock game. And the night of the next podcast, 8:30 home game against the Detroit Red Wings. And then very similar to, I shouldn't say very similar, but similarly for the Timberwolves, they've actually been doing better than the Wild have been doing. But they, I truly do believe, are really in need of a point guard. We talked about this last week. I think the Wolves have a little bit more time because I think NBA trade deadline. Oh no, not really. February 5th. So around the same time frame. But I really think you gotta go get, Alonzo Ball, go get Kobe White. I really, 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 really do not want to get Ja Morant. The only situation I would be okay with Ja Morant is if you can give up 2 draft picks, Rob Dillingham, and maybe Dante DiVincenzo. If you can underpay for the guy, fine, which I'm inclined to think the Memphis Grizzlies might go for, because I think they're in a position where they want to get off him in a situation where it's look, we might not get what we want for him, but we need to move off this guy and, do what we're going to go and do going forward. And that is the only instance I would take him, is if you can get him for next to nothing or underpay for him, similarly to what I think we did for Quinn Hughes with the Wild. But I love this confidence. Julius Randle sat down with Doris Burke within the last couple of days and essentially told her, we have all the confidence in the world when we're playing our game. And when we're playing our game, we really do feel like we can beat anybody in the league. I love that. I think the NBA is very much a confidence league where if you don't feel like you're the best team or if you can compete with anybody else, what are you doing? And then another thing I thought I'd bring up too, is the Wolves are among the elite right now. So NBA teams scoring 100 points is a sign of a strong NBA offense in the league. And no team knows this better than the Denver Nuggets, who have scored 100 plus points in 136 games from January 1981 to December 1982. However, in January of 2026, the Minnesota Timberwolves scored over 100 points in their 100th consecutive game. They sit in 3rd place, only trailing the Nuggets and the San Antonio Spurs for the most consecutive games scoring 100 points in NBA history. For a point on this, nobody is current in this right now. The Spurs did this back in 1978 to 1980. The Atlanta Hawks' reign, theirs was most recent at 94, ending in January of 2024. And the Pacers had an 81 game mark of this in March of 2024 too. So, that's just insane to me. So, they have, still a ways to go, but the fact that they're scoring points almost at will is pretty remarkable. They lost the one without Anthony Edwards tonight. They won one a couple nights ago without Anthony Edwards, which is amazing and awesome. But yeah, I still think they got to be buyers. I think both the Wolves and the Wild have to be buyers here. If you're the Wild, you need to go get a 2-way centerman or a winger that knows how to play center as well. You need another solid point guard that can help offload the offensive efficiency and shots from Anthony Edwards. Not that he can't take it, but just so that our offense isn't so centric around one player. So that's what I have for the Wolves. They will be in action 3 times this upcoming week. They'll be in San Antonio, a 3rd straight away game tomorrow, the 17th. 7 p.m. and then they'll go to Utah on Tuesday the 20th for a game at 8. And then the next podcast, the 22nd, they will be hosting Chicago in Minneapolis, 7 p.m. And I'm now just realizing I kind of went through and gave that highlight Glenn Caruso football, college football, before getting into our Unreal shoutouts, and forgot to bring up the national championship. So this upcoming Monday, we will have the national championship game. The national championship game between the number one seeded Indiana Hoosiers, who sit at 15-0, and the number 10 ranked Miami Hurricanes sitting at 13-2. And I'll be honest with you guys, it's been a while since we've done college picks for you guys, but I got 2 picks for you guys in this game. I like taking the Miami Hurricanes plus 8.5. I think this is going to be a very close game. I see it being a 3, 4, 5 point game, one way or the other. And I look at this Miami team, and their defense just pops up to me. There's nothing wrong with Carson Beck. It's not taken away from him. He's been playing unbelievable these last couple of games. So I really think it's going to be a matter of who is going to have a better game, Miami's defense or Indiana's offense. And something just tells me this Miami offense is going to keep enough points off the board from Indiana that it's going to be a very close game. With that, Indiana has proven that they can play elite defense as well. So, which is why I also say take the under 47.5 points. I kind of went back and forth on that. If this jumps up to 48, 49, 50, hammer that under. But at 47.5, I wouldn't be upset if you want to take the over. For me personally, I think it's going to be a relatively low-scoring game. So yeah, I think it'll be a close game. Last bit of information to give you guys. I like the under 47.5 points. I like taking Miami minus 8 or plus 8.5 in this game. And I'm not gonna lie to you guys, I like Miami of Ohio, University of Miami, to win the national championship. Indiana has had an incredible run. I think Fernando Mendoza is a hell of a quarterback and is going to have a successful NFL career. But I think Carson Beck is going to do enough and get points on the board for them. And this Miami defense is just going to be too much, and it's going to be completely different and harder for Mendoza to deal with and put up with the entire game. So that's what I got for the national championship. And then for the NFL. Crazy to think we are down to the final 8 teams, and if I'm being honest with you guys, we talked about the parity amongst the MLB teams. I'm not gonna lie to you guys. There's one team maybe not after last week, but you look at these 8 teams, and you can honestly look at them and say there's a case to be made for why each one of these teams could win the Super Bowl. In my opinion, some of them have greater chances to win the Super Bowl than others, but as much as I don't want to admit it, you can make an argument for why the Chicago Bears would win the Super Bowl. You can make an argument for the Houston Texans to win it. You can make an argument for the Denver Broncos, Buffalo Bills, San Francisco 49ers, Seattle Seahawks, New England Patriots, and LA Rams. But at the end of the day, 4 of these teams have to go, and the next time we come on, we will be previewing 4 teams, an AFC Championship game and an NFC Championship game. But without further ado, let's just get right into it. So this last week, in Wildcard Week, we went 5 of 6 for who we thought was actually going to win the game. The only one that didn't hit was the Packers. And then we went 4 of 6 with our picks. The only 2 that didn't hit, that the Carolina Panthers played the LA Rams a lot better than I thought they were going to. And then obviously the Packers didn't win. It didn't cover the 1.5 points. Let's just jump into it. Saturday slate, 3:30 p.m. You have the number 6 Buffalo Bills going to the number 1 Denver Broncos after having their bye week. And I'm not going to lie, I think this is going to be a really fun, tough game. Josh Allen is obviously trying to bring Buffalo to the second straight AFC Championship game, 3rd total of his career. And it's going to be a tough task for the Bills offense. Once again, I think this is going to be very similar to the likes of that national championship game where the Broncos team just has such a really, really, really good defense. And their offense is stagnant and inconsistent at some points. And on the flip side, you have the Bills offense, who has been unbelievable this entire year, headlined by one of the MVP candidates, Josh Allen. And their defense has been kind of lacking a little bit here and there. But we've talked about this a couple times at length the last couple of weeks. This is Josh Allen's time to win a Super Bowl if there was ever a time for him to be the favorite, because there's no Joe Burrow in the playoffs, there's no Patrick Mahomes, and there's no Lamar Jackson. And those are the only three quarterbacks to beat him in the playoffs, and they're not here. So he's just got to make it happen. I think this game is going to be a very close one. I think it's going to be really low scoring. So with that, the bet I like for this game is under the 46.5 points. I think Buffalo can move the ball really well, and I think it faces a Denver defense has the best red zone efficiency in the league at 42.6%. The Broncos also, like I mentioned, they struggle to finish drives on offense, which I think is going to mean fewer touchdowns in this game for both sides and longer possessions as well. So with that, it's worth noting the Broncos were flagged for an NFL high 20 defensive pass interference penalties this season, including 8 by cornerback Riley Moss. With that, I have the Bills winning a close one. 24-20 is what I think the final score is going to in this one. So Bills winning, and my bet for the game being under 46.5 points. Second game, you have the number 1 Seahawks taking on the number 6 San Francisco 49ers, and this is the one team I think I wouldn't really listen to I really wouldn't listen to an argument for why they could win it. San Francisco 49ers. We talked about it last year, their ability to get games done and win games despite injuries. But I think with George Kittle being out, I think there's just going to be one too many injuries for this team. And I actually like the Seahawks not only to win this game and move on to the NFC Championship game. I guess it's not. Sorry. I like them to cover the 7 points. I think that they're going to win by at least a touchdown. Sam Darnold's been playing great. He's going to have Cooper Kupp to throw to. He's going to have Jackson Smith and Jigba. They've been running the ball really effectively too. And I just think Seattle's going to be too much for San Francisco with all these injuries in Seattle. So, yeah, that's what I got for Saturday. Bills to win, Bills Broncos to hit under 46.5 points, Seahawks to win and take Seahawks minus 7 points. And then Sunday, January 18th, 2 p.m., third game, we got the Houston Texans going to the New England Patriots, and I think this is going to be another very much grinded out game, similar to what we saw with the Texans and the Pittsburgh Steelers. The Texans just can't seem to get past the divisional round the last couple of years that they've made the playoffs. I like the Patriots at home. They're used to playing in weather like this. They are averaging 8.6 air yards per attempt, the third highest in the NFL. I really like the Patriots in this game. I think C.J. Stroud is a fine quarterback. He proved me wrong this year. I did not think the Houston Texans had a snowball chance in hell of winning the division, or they didn't. Yeah, I didn't even think they would make the playoffs, if I'm being completely honest. And I like the Patriots to advance in this to take on the Buffalo Bills in the AFC Championship game. And on top of that, I like the Pats just to cover their 3 points. In this one, Houston's D is going to be all over them, but I really anticipate the Patriots winning this one by at least 4 points, if not a touchdown, but it'll be a close, fun game to watch. And then wrapping up the weekend, we have, the Los Angeles Rams going to the Chicago Bears. And, all week you've been hearing about the Rams don't play good in bad weather. It's going to be a hell of a game. But there's two things that I think you guys need to realize about this Rams team and about the playoffs in general too. The thing I love about playoffs for the NFL, for the NBA, and for the NHL, 9.5 times out of 10, the better team wins. And no shade to Chicago, but the Rams are just a better team. One. You have Matthew Stafford, who's going to go down as one of the better quarterbacks in the best quarterbacks in this generation to play the game. And he has Puka Nacua to throw to, Devontae Adams to throw to, Kyron Williams coming out of the backfield, Higbee. I think this is going to be offensive firepower in this game with both of these defenses being able to play well as well. But I just think there's something about Matthew Stafford playing in big games and winning big games, especially in the playoffs, and I anticipate him doing that here on Sunday. Then I just kind of alluded to it, but I didn't officially say it. The bet I like in this game is the over 48.5 points. I think this is going to be a bit of a shootout. I think the Rams will probably end up winning this game by a score of like, I don't know, I could see it being like 37 to like 33 or something like that. At the very least, it'll be like a 25 to 24 game, something like that. I think I like this game to hit the over, the only one hitting the over. And then as I was finishing up these picks, the only other thing I kind of forgot to bring up to you guys was, per popular demand, I do have 2 parlays that I put in this weekend for college. Excuse me, one for the college national championship game, and then one for the divisional round. One of them is $5 to win 67.15, and the other one is $5 to win 115. Let's get into these ones, and then I will post these right here for you guys. So the first one I like for you guys, the first one I like if you want to tail it, is $5 to win 67.15 for the college football playoffs. I got Miami covering the spread, 7.5 points. Mark Fletcher Jr. over rushing yards. Elijah Sarek anytime TD. Fernando Mendoza to go over his completions and his pass yards. Elijah Sarek to go over his receiving yards. And then Carson Beck to go have at least 2 touchdown passes. Once again, $5 to win 67.15. Go also in my description of this YouTube video to get a link for to get up to $75 when you with your first deposit with Underdog. And then the NFL one I like is an anytime TD parlay for you guys. Once again, $5. Oh man, $5 to win $115. They're doing a freebie right now, so I got Josh Allen to just get any passing yards, which is awesome. But I like Shakir. I got Shakir scoring a touchdown this weekend. RJ Harvey, Jackson Smith and Jigma, Stevenson to get a rushing touchdown, and Devontae Adams to get a touchdown. If I had to say one way or another, I feel so much more confident about this anytime touchdown parlay than the other one, but I have a good feeling I will be cashing out both of these this weekend and buying myself something nice. So yeah, like I said, I haven't been doing this much lately, but with the Underdog stuff, with the bets I just gave you guys, once again, before we let you go, I am not a financial advisor, so I'm not liable for any losses, just like I will not come after you for any wins. Do with these picks what you will. And if you have problems with sports betting or gambling, call 1-800-GAMBLER and they will get you the help and resources you need to get past this. But more than anything, thank you guys for listening. Please reach out if you guys have any questions. Once again, I love doing this podcast for you guys, the listeners. If you have questions or topics you want me to address, please reach out on any form of social media. We are on Facebook. We are on Instagram. We are on TikTok, X. I know you guys probably see me on Instagram and TikTok a lot more, but if you are on Facebook or X, please reach out. Email us, miniweekend@gmail.com. miniweekend@gmail.com. Comment in the YouTube videos. Every week I try to check at least every social media platform at least once, if not more. So reach out if you have questions, anything. And with that, I will leave you with until next time, Mini. God bless.